we got this example, so we need to work on the 3D coordinate system. Okay, so this is like just to show you how we are able to get to this form, okay, in terms of x, y, z. I'm going just to remake this graph. Okay, so this is we got something like this, just to give you an idea of how we are able to draw a 3D system. Okay, and then we know this is where we have z, x, y. Okay, and we said x equal to 2, so 1, 2, this is where we have 2, so we're going to move into the x axis, so this is where we have x. Okay, and then we say y equal to 4, y equal to 4, so 1, 2, 3, 4, this is where we have 4. And then since we got 4 here, there's no way that we can move into that direction, so we're going to make it parallel to that line. Okay, and then this point where we are, we're going to make it parallel to that other point, so that intersection, so that will be our where we're going to put this this line here. So we're going to have our line here. So let me just select a different color. This one here. Okay, so we started from there, we move, we go, this is y, so this is ax, this one is ay. Okay, when you get to this point, we need to find the z, and then for you z equal to 3, so where z is this one, so it's going to be 1, 2, 3, this is where we have 3, so I'm going to make a line parallel to where we left off, so it will be something like this. So okay, then I'm going to count 1, 2, 3. If you're not able to see this line, you could just make a parallel line. Okay, so this is where we have 3 at that point. So what I will do is I'm going to move in that direction. Okay, so this is where you're going to find your AZ. And then remember we started moving in X, this way we got AX, and then from there we move in Y axis, that's why we have AY, and then lastly we move AZ in Z direction. So this is what we see. If you want to know how to plot a 3D, how to get a 3D point, this is how we do it. Okay, so let's see the second example next to it, and you can see in a clear way this is how you can represent them, this plot. Let's see the second one. Remember, this is where you have x, -4 and 5. What I will do, I'm going just to draw something somewhere else so then I can show how we are able to find this value. Okay, so we got something like this. Okay, and then this is where we have our intersection. So we're moving, this is where we have x equal to 3, ax equal to 3, so this way we have x, y, z, this way we have 3. Okay, we're moving -4, -4 is y, so this is y, this way we're going to get that negative y, since it's actually negative, so it will be so we're going to get our negative y. Okay, it says that it's -4, 1, 2, 3, 4. This is where we have -4, and this is where we have -3, and then say 5, z equal to 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is where we have z. Now whatever we just did, it's not what we'll be referring to. Okay, this is where we have our 0. So we're going to move from 0. We start off, so let's start here. We're going to start at ax equal to 3. So I'm going to move towards this one, and this is where we have our ax. Okay, now from there I need to move to -4. With -4, at this point it's not going to be at 0, since we already left 0, so we are actually at this point. What I do is I'm going to make a parallel line. Okay, I'm going to make a parallel line to y. Since I'm moving towards y, I'm going to make a parallel line with y. Okay, just to make sure it's the same point, I'm going to make another parallel line with x, just to show you. Okay, and if I don't want to do to work with what I have, I could just go count 1, 2, 3. So it's -4 should be somewhere here. So if I count -1, -2, -3, -4, it should be there. This way we have our -4. This is where you will find ay. So this is where we're going to have ay. Okay, and then if I have to find in terms of z, so from 4 to +5, I want to make a parallel line to z, since I'm moving towards z. Okay, since it's 5, I'm going to count, or if I don't want to count, I could skip all of that and just make another parallel line. I could just make another parallel line with 5 in terms of I could just make another parallel line, but if I don't want that, I could come here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're moving towards z. Okay, and that point there, it's what we're going to call z, az. So this is the vector, for the value that we're going to get for az. Okay, it's actually az. So this is how we are able to find az. You can see the example, it's similar to what you see there. Okay, just to give you an idea, we just move it a bit around so then you can see what's happening. Okay, so this is how you can draw a 3D coordinate system. Okay, and the other video will show you how to draw a 2D, but now we are covering the 2D coordinate system.